Hello and welcome back to another stream. And yeah, I haven't done a stream video for a while, but I'm going to do it anyway. So today what we're going to be talking about is the Sahara C501. So there's been really popular different versions like the P35 and the P75. So I'm going to tell you the quick differences of them, and it's in the background. So if I just switch the back, oh, let me go here. There it is in the background right here, and you can see that it's got a few accessories in there. We'll talk about more about that as well. But how's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing all good. Yeah, well, we're just going to be doing that anyway. So we've got the RTX releases and all that sort of stuff. And I suggest you don't buy an RTX graphics card yet, any of them, until when you formally see the benchmarks. Yes, there is some leaks and stuff like that, but it depends on who's got silicone lottery and that, which we're going to be getting into this video as well. But let's talk more about this case. Alright, so move this out the way, put some lights on. Alright, can we see this case? Should we zoom in on this case? Whee! About here. Let's get that in focus. Alright, there we go. Let's bring it up a bit closer. Why is it this at this angle? That better? Yeah, that's better, isn't it? I'm in the wrong camera. Alright, there we go. Right, so this is the C501 case. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk all about it. We're going to take it apart so you see what you get with it. So I'm going to take these thumb screws off the side. And these are metal thumb screws. They feel quite weighty. Yeah. So I'm going to take this off and then take the front off. I'm going to take it all off and we'll just go through it. Oh. Right, so the side comes off pretty easy. Ooh, did it go? Wow, this is heavy. This is real heavy. Let me zoom out a little bit there, man. This glass is like 5mm thick. It feels heavy. It really does. We've got a board around there as well. Yeah, we've got a board around there. I'll just stick those to the side. Some accessories. Oh gosh, no. Ah! And it's been destructive already. Let's move them screws over here. Ah, right, okay. So, there we go, let's get that in there. So as you can see, this is a case, normal standard, but does it look standard? No, because this fits extended motherboards as well as ITX, mini ITX, ATX, micro ATX, mini ITX, and extended ATX, all in this form factor into this case. Alright, so if we go back out a little bit like this, we've got cutout hole as well. Don't know what the point is for this at the moment. We're talking about price point as well, but if you think about it, the last sort of power supply that I saw had what did it have on it? It had a readout on it, the Asus version, which was made by Seasonic, but with their name over the top as an Asus ROG 4 version. This would have been good putting in there, but this is what we're going to talk about later on. It's about price and comparison. Right, so this is what the case looks like from inside there. We're going to pop over the front. As you can see, actually, the front looks nice. They haven't opted for a glass front or anything like that. Now I'm going to have to zoom in because it's going to have to make sense, obviously. Right, so if I go here, you can see by my finger width, yeah, that is how big the airflow is going to be from the front. So let me zoom out again. So that's how big that is. Then on the top, well, we're going to zoom in. Zoom in, yeah. Let's get that in focus. Right, there we go. So we've got USB 3 on the top. So we only got one. We've got two USB 2s. We've got a microphone jack, headphone jack, LED light to change RGBs, reset power button, and a power button, and obviously a hard disk indicator, which is LEDs there as well. And then on the top as well, we've also got a filter. Let me get back out there a little bit. Right, so we've got a filter at the top. Put it right there. And this is magnetic, so a normal standard filter to clean it. And we've got some holes, obviously, to exhaust heat and stuff like that for the top. Put this back on. And I'll just pop the front off now. So you grab from the bottom and you pull, and it comes away. And then that's inside here. Let me zoom in again. Right, so this is where it's going to get a bit technical. I want you to have a good look at this. As you can see, you've got these little bits here and there, and you probably think that you'd be able to pop this off the front. You probably could, but you might break the tabs, and they're all the way down as well. I'll zoom out a little piece. And then you've got the filter holes, which I said how small they are, and then the front as well looks pretty nice. Is it a finger magnet? Let's see. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Alright, and then at the top, there's nothing at the top of the case, and then over here is like the bottom. Oh my god, sorry about that. So is there any holes at the bottom? Yeah, so it's got holes at the bottom to breathe. I know you can't see it like that, but if I turn it from the inside, you should be able to see it. If I can focus at the bottom. Okay. Well, you can't see it like that. There you go. You can kind of see it now. Like, see the background. Zoom in a bit more. Alright, so yeah, you can see the background there. Okay, so let's zoom out. Woo! Then what comes with this case is 3 140mm fans on the front, and they feel pretty weighty actually. They don't feel like really cheap fans. They're RGB as well. I'm sure they're RGB. Do you know what? I'm going to check that beforehand. Or no, the one in the back's RGB and the ones in the front are not. So these are 3 140mm fans, but I don't know whether they're DC or not DC. We're going to take a look from the other side now. So yeah, we've got these same metal screws on the back as well. So let me zoom in. So where can we see it? Why can't we see it? Oh, it's at the top here. Oh, let me zoom out a little bit. Right. Focus. There. Right, so these are the metal screws. Listen to where they drop. That's how heavy these screws are that they're dealing with. They're putting good quality screws in. Oh. Take the side panel off. Now the side panel hasn't got any sound dampening or anything like that. It's still okay though. It's got a little flex. So it's quite solid. I'll put this over here. Now we look at the back. Hi Flynn Watson. What USB ports does it use? Oh, we're going to get to that. Don't worry about that, we'll get to that. Right, so now we've got the back of the case. Right, let's see, can you see the top bits? So we've got all these cutout holes on the back. You know what, let me zoom out, then I can just talk really quickly about it. There we go, that's better. So we've got all these cutout holes, so one for your EPS connector, see your fans and stuff like that, especially if you're doing radiator cooling. A big cutout as well for a retention bracket for your CPA cooling or AIO cooling. More cutout holes there, 24 pin USB 3 type C, and if you've got an extended motherboard you can obviously use that as well with no problems whatsoever. We've got some tie-off points on there, we've got SSD mounts as well, and we've got a tie-off point here, and then also the cables right from the top here. We've got these plastic clips, so you can literally just See the cables are all messy, you can just literally slide it in, and then that's your cable management done. That's what they're trying to say here. Let's zoom in and get a good look at that plastic on there as well. Right, where's the plastic on there? There we go. So as you can see there, I can easily get the cables out, and I can easily just mount these cables back into here. So no Velcro, they just added this on, and this looks like it's done by adhesive. It's not like, doesn't look perfectly straight, but it's just an adhesive, so you can obviously sort this out yourself. And we've got all of this Molex, and I hate Molex. So many Molex. Well, I'm guessing this is for the fans then. So let me have a look. So as you know, if you are a fan of Sahara cases, you know they've got pirate fans as well. And their cable's pretty cool. Yes, this is just freaking Molex. Why have they can put Molex in there? Oh my god. Anyway, we've got RGB sync cable on the back as well. And the RGB 5-volt sync cable is there, so you can obviously sync up your motherboard, because they've done a way where you can just use the RGB with it on its own. So you've got to use this cable to sync up your motherboard. So you need a RGB enabled motherboard to obviously sync it. OMG Molex. That's the same thing what I'm saying, Michael. I don't really understand why there is Molex. And there's not just a few Molex. There is 5 on the back. So there's 5 of them here. Let me zoom in again. Look at this, 5 Molexes. I don't even know why. I'm guessing, oh, it's 4, sorry, 4 Molexes. So these are for the actual fan on the back. It's crazy. I don't know why they've done that. I don't know how I would even control the fan curve on this. But anyway, we've got an RGB slave connector as well. So this is the main one, and then you obviously use pirate fans, so you can connect it up to get more RGB if you want to. And cables on the back that it comes with. Why are we not in focus here? Come on, mate. We've got what we got? A USB 3, USB cable, HD audio cable, and all your other cables to connect to the actual case, to the motherboard. So that's all there. And let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. Yeah, I know. You're telling me. Too many Molex cables. Right, so on the back as well, as you can see, look at the space for a power supply. Plethora amounts of room for a power supply in there. We've got a couple of standoffs on there as well. Foam standoffs for the actual power supply itself. So it keeps it with the vibrations and stuff. And then we've got room for three 3.5 inch mechanical hard drives in there. We can have 3 SSDs in there. That's no problem. On the back, they give you a 140 RGB fan as well. No slots. You can put 120 or 140 on there. 7 expansion slots with screws. But after you use these, I think is these the ones you got to break off. You have to break these tabs off on the back. So these tabs have got to be all broken off. On the front here, where you can put your graphics card up in a different orientation, that means that you can literally put your graphics card up against the window. But I don't think that's going to be a good idea, but we'll talk all about that. This is just telling you about this case real quick. Obviously, power supply, it goes on the back there, no problem. Filter, which is just standard little chicken wire filter at the bottom there. Pads as well. It's probably about centimetre to 2 centimetres lift off from the ground, so I wouldn't rest this on carpet. And you can move the hard drive tray as well, as you can see it. That's pretty good. And I think we've got a Stroud as well, with a cutout on the front, on the side there as well. No breathable holes there, but you've got mounting options, not mounting options, you've got holes there to bring in through your cables, which you normally would. And you've got probably about 2.5 centimetres in the front to add water cooling on. So this is the bit I'm talking about down here. So 2.5 centimetres to add water cooling. And the SSDs, where's the SSDs go? SSDs here. So, where am I going with this? 2 points for SSDs. 1, 2. Right, okay. Let's talk more about this case now. Obviously, it comes with tempered glass and all that, and we've got the accessories as well. So I'm just going to move this to the background, move this out a little bit. There. Right, so we've got these little instructions as well, very straightforward instructions. So an explosive view of that, and there we go. Right, let's see what accessories we get. Oh, okay, this is cool. So they include 2 brackets that I said for the PCI would be a bit of a problem. If you break them off, you ain't gonna have you're gonna have to get them somewhere. Well, they include them in the box. And you know what's even more cool? They thought about this, didn't they? Velcro strips. So we've got Velcro strips as well. So that's nice. You get 5 of them in there. You get all the screws and everything that you ever need in the bag. Not that you can see what I'm looking at. And obviously a buzzer. Some ports as well to put over the graphics card. I've just dropped it all on the floor. Right, okay. Well, I don't know where that's gone. Right, this is going to be interesting. This is the most interesting thing. So we've got more of these as well. And this is for your cable management. So we've got 2 of them, as well as the Velcro. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits of adhesive, and we've got adhesive at the bottom. So this right here is a graphics card retention bracket. So you put your graphics card in. If you've got it in a vertical mount, this is what this is going to be there for. So it's got screws. It's a weird sort of contraption. It's padded here with rubber, and then obviously got a screw there. This is what the screws are expecting to be on the back of the case, but it's actually plastic. And then you've got one on the back there, depending on the size of the graphics card. Then it's got pads at the bottom and adhesive to launch on there. Feels a little bit sharp on that. Needs to probably be engineered a little bit better, but it's not too bad. It's a good idea. Alright, okay. So let's talk about this actual case now. Let me get forward. You can go backwards over there. Oh, don't break, don't break. Oh my god, I'm gonna break everything. Right, okay. Oh. Alright, okay, let's zoom out. Wee! So let's talk about this case real quick. So it's got a fan called a Bullseye. It's a Bullseye fan, and they said that we will know what it's about and that. I'm a little bit confused of what it is about. But yeah, it says female 4-pin connects to Bullseye Master Fan 4-pin male plug. So that's the other slave. So if you've got pirate, what are they called? Pirate fans? Pirate Sahara fans, then you can connect this up with it and it becomes compatible. But yeah, it just shows you how you can use it. And obviously they come up with 2 cables as well. So if you're using MSI or MSI ASRock, Gigabyte and Asus, it's got a Gigabyte connector, and then it's got obviously a connector for MSI, so ARGB and RGB Fusion for Gigabyte, I guess. Right, so this is what where is it? Word. I've got to get this word up. So this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to listen to the community of people. So I'm just going to read out what they've been saying. So Yes, overall people are feeling with all like great, because obviously in Chinese it's hard to convert into English, but they're saying that the glass is nice and attractive. People did preferred their case. The other cases like the P35 and the P75. They're not just only good for customers, but people like them and everything like that. And it's surprising, like the C500, suddenly sales went up and all that sort of stuff. And that means more people were interested in that. So that's cool. They said that they wanted to put a front glass on the front of this case, which is, oh gosh, that sounds horrible, which is that. And I'm glad they didn't, but we've got to talk more about this side panel, front panel as well. They said it would look fashionable, but it wouldn't. They wanted a little bit more airflow. So they would like to speak to you guys and say like what you're interested in, what your reviews are on it and stuff. But they are literally trying to listen to people and figure it all out. Now, if I just get up actually, just move out the way, and then I can just go on about this case real quick. So they're saying, if you can see it, zoom. Right, so they're saying with this case that the front is going to have the intake from the side. So when this is on the front, if I put this on the front now, remember we've got three 140mm fans on the front. They're saying that the intake is going to literally come through to the front and then go through, what are they saying it's going to go through? It's going to go through the sides. Cool air is going to come through the top, which doesn't make no sense to me. So through the here, through up here, and then cool air is going to come up through the top and then be exhaust at the back. But that's negative and positive pressure, which is not going to be correct to what they're talking about. So technically, these gaps here is very small to be able to get airflow through. As you can see, it's like really quite small. I can put my little finger there. That's how much airflow we've got through to the sides. So with three 140mm fans, we've got negative pressure, we've got dust buildup, and we're going to have problems of getting cool air coming through this case properly. So you're only going to get a small percentage of air coming through to the sides, where heat's going to be lingering depending on where you live. So if it's in a colder, more denser country, it's going to be like cool air's going to be like lingering around. It will just be able to zap in for a little bit, but it will linger around in the case mixed with a hot air and hot air pressure. You got three 140mm fans on the front, and that's going to be a bit of a problem and stuff like that. Yes, Michael, massive graphics card bracket, maybe case lacks cross bracing to hold the graphics card up. Yeah, probably does, but it's metal and it looks like it needs to be engineered a little bit better as well. Anyway, so we've got a 140mm fan on the back here. So if you've got your MOSFETs and your chokes and also your heat sinks at the top of here, how can you have cool air coming in from the top when hot air rises? So basically you're going to have your graphics card in it. Let's just say we've got a graphics card in here as well, and your CPU, and you're like running with say a 9700K by Intel, and you've got heatsink from a motherboard that's probably about £200, and you've got your heat sinks there exposed. The heat's going to be travelling from the top here, and then your CPU is going to be travelling at the top here as well. If you've got a CPU air cooler, that heat's going to be blown out, but from negative pressure of air, it's going to come through to the front, and that's going to be at one speed because it's with Molex connectors, not even DC or PWM fans. Then you're going to have your CPU air cooler going at another speed, which you're going to have to go into the BIOS. So this doesn't make this very friendly for people that really want to build a computer really quickly, but they want it to be high performance. It's going to be coming through the side here, so only a certain percentage of air, a certain amount of heat's going to be extracted here. Depending on your graphics card, whether you've got a blower style or one that blows inside the case and needs to be exhausted at the top, this is going to be the problem. You can't really have a graphics card on the side of here because it's going to be smashed up against the glass, which means it's going to have no potential of heat getting out, only from the side. and then that means you need to buy the right graphics card to go in there as well. And then you've got the 140 fan on the back of here, which will take a bit of the negative heat pressure on the back, but it all got to be done at the same speed. Obviously these are Molex, so they're going to be all running at different speeds. Plus you can have negative pressure coming from your fans from the graphics card that's got fans as well. And the way the heat's going to be distributed is going to be like a certain amount of percentage of cool air coming through and then flowing into this sort of space, and then it's just not enough cool air is going to be hitting it, so it's going to be kind of hot right here. SSDs ain't going to matter, but if you've got an NVMe here, that's going to add to heat as well. And if you've got a cover at the top, it's not too bad, but if you haven't, then that's going to evolve for heat and stuff like this. But I don't know, so if I put a 280 radiator at the top, I'm going to have heat inside the radiator as well. If I'm running it for like at least 2 hours, I'm going to get a proper base mark of what's going on. Then it's going to be escaping from the back, but only a certain amount of percentage. So if I look at this case, it's got a few problems as well. So if I look here, this is not big enough to really put a 360 in here. It's a little bit too small. But if you're going to use like a Silverstone AIO cooler, you might be able to get a thin radiator. I suppose you can get thin radiators about. And also an extended motherboard. An extended motherboard from this computer case is going to be a bit silly because an extended motherboard is so expensive. And this is kind of like on the price of like £69. Now I like that they're thinking out the box and adding in things like this and all your screws and everything like that. But people more want Velcro because this is kind of bulky inside the case. But they do include a standoff, but it's not a standoff that stands off properly against your motherboard or anything like that. I love your reviews, man. Keep it up, Omar. Nice one. Hey, Omar. Yeah, so with this being said, you're going to have... Let's talk about what we can put in here. So we can put a 360 on the front of this case, yeah? We can put a 360 all in the front there and to a 120. At the top, we can put a 280 rad at the top. That's the maximum we can put up there. And on the back, we can put in a 120 or a 140 on the back for radiator clearance. Now, at the top of here, they thought about it pretty well, but the EPS connector through the top, as you can see, can you see it? Yeah, you can just about see it. For at the top there, where that pass through is, that means you're going to lose a little bit of cable. They normally, with case manufacturers, make it so it's right in the corner a bit so you can pass through your fans and that. But other than that, they've got some things right and some things not right on this case. We've got a plethora room at the bottom, like I said, nice, big cutout and everything like that. We've got tie points as well. And it's good that you can have the option to put an extended motherboard in there if you choose to, but I don't know. But anyway, let's come back to this and see what else they was talking about. Well, I can sit down nice and quickly now. Right, okay, so that's what we're talking about. So with obviously negative air and all that sort of stuff, we've gone through that. They also wanted to connect this bullseye cable. So basically what it means is that you connect it and you can use the pirate slave like RGB fans and have more RGB going on in there, but also they've done it in a way where it doesn't really make sense. There are other cases where definitely better. Why would you put Molex on a case? Doesn't make no sense at all. They're talking as well, sucking cold air directly from the hard disk drive. Hard disk drives are going to really hardly produce any heat at all. PSU will obviously produce a bit of heat. There's enough clearance at the bottom for the power supply. Could have made it a little bit higher with inside the case where you can have it stand off a little bit more, but that's sufficient. It'll be okay. Airflow direction, front 2 times 14 centimeters and top, enough cold air inwards which will pass the VGA and the CPU. It will not really pass in there because the airflow is negative and positive. They're mixing together. It's like a storm waiting to happen, but inside the case where you want it all outside the case. You want real positive cool air coming in through the case and then straight out the back for hot air. Especially by the MOSFETs chokes and the heat sinks, you want that all really to exhaust. That's why sometimes when you put a radiator at the top, you get more heat, especially when you're overclocking, you definitely see that more. It's obviously ARGB, the way that they're obviously saying this is an ARGB case, fan, bullseye, master, slave. So they're just trying to make it very simple. Some people might want to, if they can't use, if they can't use a, am I in focus? I'm not even in focus. There we go, I'm in focus now. So when it comes down to ARGB, you can sync and connect it straight to your actual motherboard, but they haven't got the facility where you can have it where it's synced to another box. They got rid of the hub. That's what they're talking about in this one. You'll see 2 connectors, one for Asus and all Gigabyte. I already said that. I really do not know why you've gone with Molex. That's really upsetting. And Bullseye, the fan, I can't really... It's addressable RGB. It just looks like standard RGB. I don't really know what else to look at on there. Each block, so each block where they've cut out is saying it's 20 millimeters in width. There's 9 like little ports and stuff. Especially with extended motherboards, it's different where the Type C cable is and where the USB 3 cable, because it'll bend slightly. So yeah. But you got the vertical mount. I don't agree normally in cases with vertical mounts, because when you start to believe that it looks really nice, you're losing you're losing cool air. Basically, you need the graphics card to breathe properly. When a graphics card starts to get really hot, it actually ramps down. So you can be using any graphics card like a 2080 Ti or like I don't know, AMD whatever graphics card. If you're using that as well as like CPUs that are going to be really hot in this case, it's just going to all melt up and start to heat up. So that's for presentation, making it nice, but they need to make the case wider. And then if the case is wider, that means that there's more space for the graphics card to breathe. But then you need to know what graphics card you need to have. If you've got one that's blowing directly at the glass, then it's stupid, because it's going to be hot air within seconds, up to 70 degrees or 63 degrees at the lowest. And it will start to blow up inside your case. Now, if you live in England like I do, it's like sometimes when it's really hot over here, you get this hot, humid heat, and that will down the performance of your PC as well. What is the price of this case? It's £79 at the moment. But the thing is, it's not out yet. So hopefully they're going to do some things to this case to make it slightly a little bit better. This is just a sample at the moment of this case. Obviously the VGA card holder, it looks a little bit cheap, but it can do the job, but it'll be a bit of an eyesore inside the case, especially it's got tempered glass. The glass on it is really good quality though, really thick and stuff. It's got like a little, what's it called? A little, what's the word? A tint to it. So it's slightly tinted, making it look, with the RGBs to pop, make it look clean. So yeah, that's not bad. Top panel. So we've got, obviously they give you USB 2s. I would like to see Type C on the top and USB 3, and I would have been alright with that. But we've got 2 USB 2s, which you can have for your headphone jack if you're using USB, saves you using the back, and then other things you can plug into it. But more modern, it's obviously like the one 3.5mm jack. Alrighty then. 3.5mm jack, which can do headphone and microphone jack, which have the 4 bars on the actual headphone jack. And that would have been quite cleaner, less cables inside, less cables to mess around with. The plastic like bits that you can do your cable management with, don't really like them. It was a good idea, but it moves and it doesn't look aesthetically clean to me. I would prefer Velcro, which they included in there. Really thin straps, no problem with that, that's all good. Strap it to the actual points on the back of the case, which is no problem. It's saying that we've got a 360mm from the top and 380. So if your graphics card's going to be big, like the new RTXs that are coming out, it's going to be a bit annoying as well for the AIO. So 380 is total. That's nice though, because you get to know like kind of what you're going to be doing. But the 3000 series RTX graphics cards are a lot longer than the predecessor ones of the 2080s, the biggest one that you can get to that size, and they've got bigger graphics cards now. So this case is going to be annoying to put a 360 on the front. So you have to put a 280 at the top there, or even a big CPA cooler, which has got plenty of space. So it's 360mm for, no, 170 millimeters for the highest point of the CPU block. So that's pretty good, and 360 at the back. Plus, you've got all that plethora room of the power supply. So they've gone for assembly. They've gone for everyone that you want to advertise it to, which is ATX, MATX, ITX, and extended ATX. So with the extended ATX, I don't know whether I agree with that, because an extended motherboard is going to be really expensive, and in that case, I don't know. It looks nice, but it's more of a budget build, and I think the price should be slightly a little bit cheaper, because you've got Fractal Design, which has got a solid case, and then you've got Fantex, and you've also got what one have we got? InWin. You've got all of these like really tight confined cases that are around that sort of price, but they're already out there and known, and you get a few more extras. It looks slightly a bit more professional, which is really bad. I shouldn't really say that. Recording fans are RGB, right? One of them is in the back. 5 volt, yeah. It's an honour to meet you. Oh, thank you, Darnell. When are you going to go live next? Probably tomorrow. Be it in earbuds review or something. I don't know. Anyway, right. So, does anyone like this case so far? What I've been showing you. Do you like it? Do you think it's alright? Or do you think I'm being a bit too harsh on it? Because I'm just being honest. If I was going to buy this case, I would really want to make sure that I was getting my money's worth. And one thing I really hate is Molex. I do not know why there's Molex on there, but I guess Molex might be... No, actually, I don't know. Why have you put Molex on it? I don't know. For obviously power, but you could just use SATA. I don't know. But anyway, the cables, the fans are going to be very difficult inside as well. Screwing it inside to get those fans in and out to put a 360 on there is going to be really difficult. Which other case manufacturers know. That I would like to see different about. Maximum length, 230mm for your power supply from the cage, and 380 would be without the cage. You can move the cage as well. So that's pretty decent. I like that. Right. I've already gone through the radiators and the SSDs you got on their front. So you can have 5 mechanical hard drives. So 5 2.5 inch mechanical hard drives, or 3 mechanical hard drives, which are 3.5 inch, or 5 2.5 inch. And you can have basically 5 SSDs, but you wouldn't really use the cage for that. But 2 of them to show off. And the cutout point, I don't really know why they would put it on there. More manufacturers need to be able to get involved and have like a digital display on the side, so you can overclock your power supply, your CPU and graphics card, or your memory, and you want to know like kind of how much voltage you're using, or even the people just want to save electricity, or they want to know how much the game is using in power, how much it's like gone from idle to not idle. That's good, but no power suppliers companies seem to do that other than Asus, which nicked it off of Seasonic. So I don't know. What are we saying here? I'll be there then. It seems a little overpriced for the features set to offer. Yes, it does. Will this case hold SSD? The last case I did. Yeah, it does. It'll hold 5 SSDs, no problem whatsoever. What else have we got in there? Yeah, no problem whatsoever. It's actually saying... It's saying it can fit 4 SSDs in it. Oh, that's cool. I guess one at the top, one at the bottom, but you just move that cage and make more room in there. So this is what their conclusion is. So it's obviously in Chinese, so it's a little bit garbled, so I'll try to make good of it. So the case they're trying to improve a lot of the things based on what they heard from other customers, from obviously the P35 and the P75, which are good cases. Done reviews of them. Leave them in the link in the description down below so you can check that out. And obviously the price is like $79.99. It's far too expensive for that case. There's cases like this you can get for like £39, £59, but obviously they've got a few extra accessories in there, but they can cut corners a little bit. But of that case quality, the case quality is nice. The glass is really thick. I don't know, but $79.99, I can think of people going to be going to other manufacturers because they're already established. They're already a case manufacturer that already got things that are just quality. They will take, like Fractal Design, it will take the quality from the insert and then place it onto another case and change the design a little bit. But most manufacturers mess up the front of the case for cool air, so you get negative and positive pressure mixing together, and you do not get a cool performance PC. There's so many things I can tell you about PCs that just, it's so annoying. You know, like when you have people overclocking against each other. If they've got two same computers, so say I went and bought one off of Overclockers, I got a CPU, but then Overclockers gave me a better CPU, meaning it's got better silicone. The same silicone needs to be great for memory and a graphics card. The better the silicone, the cooler and the higher performance that you get, and the more you can overclock it. Now, if you just get something that's generic like everyone else has got, then that's the difference. This is the problem what you're going to have. You're going to have the problem of heat consumption. But when you've got two identical computers and you don't know about the silicon lottery that's going on, one computer's going to perform better than the other one. Anyway, and also the fans, how you direct the fans to get in cool air being intake into the front of the case and exhaust at the same time. You've got to work out the properties of how much you're doing the fan velocity inside the case. So it's basically how you would get the heat out of the case. Making it simple. How would you get the heat out of the case? You'll go into the BIOS, sort your fan curves out, and then kind of, if you can get a smoke machine or... No, we won't even go there. It's just too complicated. But this is what it is with back cases. But this is far too expensive. And they got rid of the hub, so you don't even get a hub with it. So that makes it even more expensive. If they put the hub in there, people that don't have an RGB motherboard or ARGB motherboard, they can just use the hub and then have it working straight away. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about this case, because it's just going on and on and on. Damn, out of my budget. The one question we all want to know, will the case have room for water cooling? Yeah, of course it will. What, AIO water cooling? You did well today. Oh, thank you. Oh, there we go. This will definitely have room for water cooling. It comes with like 140mm fans, but would it be able to have space for normal every third party water cooling unit? No. You're going to have to check it out and make sure you get the thinner radiators. But if you get a thinner radiator, that means it's going to be liters per hour going around inside the loop, which means it's going to heat up after like an hour and a half. And the water cooling unit's going to have to work harder because it's going to have more heat to distribute. So technically, if I was going to buy this computer, I would use a CPU that was more lower end. I'll go for Core i5, Core i7. I wouldn't go for Core i9 in there. Or I would use an AMD, 5 series, and maybe like a newer generation that doesn't have too much of a TDP watt rate output, because the more TDP, the more heat it will produce in that case as well. And a graphics card, I wouldn't go any further than like an RTX 2060. I wouldn't go any further than that, because it's all about the heat that it's going to produce, and you need to make sure that you're buying the right RTX third party graphics card, because you want to make sure it actually exhausts the heat out in the right place, and do not slam it up against the glass. I don't know why they put that feature on there, I really don't, but anyway, I think that's it now. I've chatted so much all about it. Yeah, I hope you all have a good day, and obviously subscribe if you're new to the channel, and like and share this. It helps out a lot, and I'll be coming back tomorrow with another review. But yeah, I hope it ain't too harsh about what I've been saying, but it's just how I would feel if I've got this case and I spent £80 and I've already tried that other cases that are cheaper, it's got a slightly better quality. I'm going to be really annoyed, and I guess you guys would be annoyed if I said, oh, it's brilliant, it's this and that. Alright, so for me, would I buy this case? Not at $79.99. I'll probably buy it at probably about $59.99. I think that's a fair deal because you ain't got hub and stuff on there, but all the other qualities are decent. Certain positions as well with cable management, it's going to make your case look ugly. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling on. Subscribe, obviously, like and all that sort of stuff, and I'll see all you guys later. Bye bye. See ya. Thanks for watching. Roger and out.